Hey, everybody, this is Troy over at Uncomfortable Truths. Thanks for checking me out. So, today we have to talk about this quote from Donald Trump.
Now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath.
So, this out of context quote caused the mainstream media to lose their minds. And here's just some of the reaction from the talking heads to this out of context quote.
Mr. Trump was doubling down on his threats of political violence with that bloodbath comment.
Trump warning while discussing the economy that there would be a, quote, bloodbath if he is not reelected in November. This after the former president kicked off the event by paying tribute to those who attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6th.
Bloodbath, that's what he wanted the last time. If he would have had that, if one congressperson or senator was killed, we would not be here today. We would be under a dictatorship.
Donald Trump's comments about a bloodbath. Do you think that those comments were appropriate?
When he says bloodbath, that means more of the weapons that we saw on January 6th.
The presumptive Republican nominee warned there would be a, quote, bloodbath, unquote, if he loses the election.
It would be shame on us if we ignore this. We saw it. It happened back in the 1930s when a fellow called Hitler wrote Mein Kampf, and he said exactly what he was going to do in that.
We ought to take him seriously. This is the insurrectionist president.
They demonstrated that on January 6th, and the only thing that Trump said is, come to the Capitol, it's going to be wild, we have to take back our country. Imagine what will happen when he loses after Trump says things like, it's going to be a bloodbath if I lose.
All right, there it is. A really rational and well-reasoned take from the left. And my favorite is that lady there at the end who says, well, look, Trump barely even said or did anything on January 6th, and look how bad that turned out. Bitch, you didn't get the memo? You're supposed to be out there saying that he instigated January 6th. They've been doing it for years. You just undermined that whole thing to try to get Trump on a gotcha thing on this one instance where you're taking him out of context. They are so out of their minds that they can't even keep the story straight. So just for reference, here's what Trump actually said.
100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories. A friend of mine, all he does is build car manufacturing plants. He's the biggest in the world. I mean, honestly, I joke about it. He can't walk across the street, and that way he's like Biden.
All right, look, regardless of what you think of Donald Trump, it is abundantly clear that when Trump was talking about a bloodbath, it was not a call for political violence. He wasn't trying to instigate a civil war. He was talking about trade. He was talking about China. He was talking about tariffs. This had nothing to do whatsoever with trying to threaten other Americans. He was saying, hey, look, this is what's going to happen if you vote for the other guy. It's going to be a bloodbath when it comes to these trade deals. That's what he's talking about. And that is a very short clip. So all of these media companies that are going out and saying that he was calling for a bloodbath or that he was calling for political violence, what they are doing is actively lying to their audience. And it does lead a person to wonder, hey, if Trump is really this terrible, why do these outlets have to actually lie about what it is that he's saying? Why don't they go out and actually show the full clip of what he's saying, give it the actual context that it deserves, and then argue those points? Well, it's quite simple. They're painting him to be some sort of boogeyman that he just isn't. Donald Trump, even by the admission of the lady in those clips, was saying, yeah, well, I mean, he didn't really say anything that serious in January 6th, and look what happened. Yeah, he didn't say anything that serious, and he's not saying anything that is seriously violent right now. But if they were to be honest about that, it would undermine years and years of trying to build this guy up as some sort of Hitlerian figure, as some sort of monster that's going to come and take away everything that we love about America. Look, even if you don't like Donald Trump, that's not true. We've already had him for 4 years as president. So to say that this time it's going to somehow be magically and drastically different and that he's going to become a dictator and he's wanted to be a dictator his whole life, look, the guy left. You don't like that. You don't like that he doesn't come out and say, yeah, it's the fairest election the world's ever seen, and I lost fair and square. I know that you don't like that he doesn't come out and say these things. However, this does not mean that the guy is actually Hitler. It doesn't mean that he's actually a dictator. When it serves their purpose, they say, oh, look how friendly he is with China. He's obviously a dictator. And then when he comes out and says it's going to be a bloodbath for China, talking about trade, they focus on bloodbath as if he's actually coming out and advocating for political violence. No, he was coming out strong against the person that you say that he's buddy-buddy with. Just like they were mad when he was talking with Kim Jong-un in North Korea. They said, oh, look, this guy is coming out and he's threatening North Korea. And then when he goes and makes peace with North Korea and he says, oh, yeah, we're friends and everything's going great with North Korea, which is a great thing because it's de-escalating from a potential war with somebody that may actually have nuclear weapons. They go, oh, look how buddy-buddy he is with dictators. This is a terrible sign. There is no winning for this guy. So if they're going to keep clipping and doing these things, the good news is that people see through it. And it actually makes people who wouldn't otherwise support Trump say, hey, why are they clipping this guy? I watched what he said and you're taking him out of context. And that isn't the point that he was trying to make. It makes people that wouldn't otherwise even consider Trump actually go out and think about voting for him because nobody likes being lied to. And that is exactly what these news outlets are doing. So anyway, everybody, that's all I have to say on this issue. Do me a favor and hit like and subscribe because I'm looking forward to talking to you guys soon. Take care, everybody.